Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to talk about my top 10 Digimon. Now a lot of you have actually requested this kind of video, so I'm going to go through this in order. Obviously just keep in mind that this is like my top 10, this is my opinion. Now a lot of you are going to think of differently, but anyway, this is just my opinion of what I think. I'm going to go through like number 1 to 10, and then we're going to go through the reason why and the skills. Okay, so without any further ado, let's start. Before that, give us a thumbs up or a dislike, and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, anyway, so let's start. Now, I got my phone here, let's check it out. Now, obviously, the first thing on my list, guys, like literally, maybe some of you probably gonna think differently, but the first thing in my list right now is gonna have to be Omegamon. Now, obviously, I have reasons for that, but I'll go through that later. Now, the second one on my list is gonna have to be Grace Novamon. By the way, I'm doing this like not in just free to play or pay to win, but I'm doing them in all sections, because since now they've released a new bid war where basically the people who don't have potential, for example, they are not VIP. Now in the new bid war system, if there's potential 16 Digimon, you can actually do the bid war without having to be VIP, so that's good. Okay, so the second one is Grace Novamon here. This is pretty cool, so that's my second option. Now the next one, I'm gonna go for Lucimon. I don't actually have him, but the next, as of now, since right now we're on June, so the next third one is basically Lucimon, where obviously it's a potential 17 Digimon, and as you guys notice now, like on my list is basically potential 17 are the first ones, of course, because they are like higher, stronger, like basically higher stats, better skills, and so on. Okay, now the next one is gonna have to be Jupitermon. I actually have Jupitermon unlocked. It's like literally, it's a huge, strong defense Digimon. It is potential 17, but it's so good. Look at that! Like we got Aigumon here, Aigyo Chusmon, and we got Jupitermon there. Okay, now the next one, guys, is gonna have to be number 5. Now this is a bit. Either like I went for Improgeron Paladin mode or slash Magnamon. The reason for that is because, well, obviously Improgeron Paladin mode is a good Digimon, and at the same time it's potential 17 too, but it does become outdated. Anyway, Magnamon, the reason why I went slash Magnamon 2 is that because Magnamon is a potential 16 Digimon, and he's an attack type, but at the same time he is, how should I say, he is like really strong as a defense as well. That's Improgeron there. And talking of Magnamon, let's go through Magnamon down here. Where is Magnamon? Right there. So you can see Magnamon here, which is the Flame Dramon evolution line. I don't know if you guys watched the Digimon Adventure 2. You would have been able to see, well, the evolution line of Flame Dramon, and he goes to, I think, later into Magnamon. But anyway, okay, so the next one, guys, basically is going to be Chaosmon. I went, there's kind of a little bit of a difference there, because Chaosmon slash Alphamon. Now, it's totally up to you guys what you want to have, but for me, I went with Chaosmon slash Alphamon, like in between, like number 6. The reason why I went for Chaosmon is that I think Chaosmon is good for everyone, whether you are free to play or whether you are pay to win. That's the reason why I went for Chaosmon, like slash Alphamon. If you are pay to win, obviously Alphamon, but if you are free to play and also pay to win but you don't spend a lot of money, then go for Chaosmon. The reason for is that his shards are easy to farm, he's literally, his weapon is easier to get as well, it's easier to advance him, basically everything about him is very easy, but also he's a very good strong Digimon. I mean, I have him like Genetics Awakened 6th stage, and it's, you know, look at that. Anyway, okay, so the next one, guys, I'm gonna go for Belphemon. Talking of Chaosmon, let me just go through there. And I mentioned earlier Alphamon. I don't actually have Alphamon unlocked, but just to show you guys which one Alphamon is. Let's go Reptile Dramon here. There, so this is the evolution line of Alphamon. Okay. Alright, now let's go to Belphemon. Belphemon. The reason why I'm going for Belphemon next is that its attack is basically insane. So this is Belphemon right here. Now Belphamon's attack, like 1v1, his attack is tremendous, it's huge. Like literally a lot of like pay-to-win people, or a lot of top players, they still use him. Anyway, okay, let's go back. Now my next one is Black or Greymon. There's a good reason for that as well, because Black or Greymon is pretty good. Also, he's like core Digimon too. It's like a light soul there. His evolution lines. Yeah, we got Black Agumon, Black Greymon, and then you have, well, I don't know why it's called Virus Metal Greymon, but it should just be Black Metal Greymon. But anyway, it's kind of weird because even though they are black, they're called Black Greymon. It actually looks like more like gray over here, or like kind of like light dark bluish or something. Anyway, that's definitely Black or Greymon. Okay, anyway, I'll go through the reason for that later, guys. My next one is number 9 is going to be Venusmon. The reason for that, the Venusmon, because of his passive skill, it basically gives you invincibility to 2 random Digimon. You know, you can see right there. The invincibility is really good as well. I mean, wow, the only downside to this is like basically it's a random invincibility instead of like giving the invincibility to your front row Digimon. But instead it gives it to like a random, so that's the only downside to it. Anyway, the last one, number 10, is going to be Slayer Dramon. So Slayer Dramon is Core Dramon. Yeah, it's this one here, Core Dramon. Now, Core Dramon is a core Digimon as well. His soul basically is a fire soul. So if you guys are thinking of having a fire team, then Core Dramon is a good option. A lot of people have this with Grace Novamon to do the fire team. Anyway, so this is Core Dramon. It's a really nice Digimon, very strong in attack as well. Basically, every Digimon that dies, and if you have him in his team, and if you have his like Fire Soul activated, basically he gains extra buffs, extra stats, and so on. Okay, anyway, so that's my top 10. Now, I'm gonna go through the reasons why. So, with number 1, basically, Omegamon. The reason why we have Omegamon. Okay, so first things first is Omegamon is basically a free-to-get Digimon. It's anybody can have him, whether you're pay-to-win or free-to-play. It's easier to get his Awakened weapon. Well, it's easier than most plus 17 Digimon because his weapon you can literally, it comes on through events where you have to like Wishing Tree event where you have to spend like 20,000 diamonds or higher to get his weapon, which is good. His shards, on the other hand, are very, very easy to get as well through the fusion section, right over here. Yeah, you can get his shards easy from here. His skills are really good. If you guys pay attention to his like second skill here, basically does a vertical attack of its normal skill. But if you guys do genetics, if you unlock his 4th passive over here, his second stage and his 4th passive here, his skill basically, instead of doing 1 normal attack, he actually does 2 normal attacks, which is really cool. And then his fourth passive here, let's have a look. After unleashing a skill, there is a 20% chance to unleash 1 more skill. The second skill unleashed doesn't have any buff effect. Now this is like its 4th passive, which is pretty cool to be honest. When you're releasing a skill, which means if you release his normal skill, which is second skill, that means that it's going to have a chance to release another skill at the same time, same round, which is really cool. Okay, so the next one is Grace Novamon. Now, the reason for why I went for Grace Novamon next is that obviously it's potential 17 Digimon. It's a core Digimon. The other thing is that if you guys do a Grace Novamon genetics, right here, if you do 2nd stage genetics here, I will show you here right now. So, the 2nd stage genetics, obviously, at first you have Grace Novamon, which is basically, it's not, he only works with Fire Soul, and it gives his block rate, which block rate nobody really wants a block rate. But when you do the 2nd stage genetics, you will get the Grace Novamon here. So you see that, guys, it says additionally increase 35% damage immune rate for allied Digimons for 2 rounds. For 2 rounds, this is better than Piedmon's passive, because Piedmon only gives you for one round. This gives you for 2 rounds, which is a huge amount of difference. Okay, and also this, after you do the second stage genetics, this will give you option to either have, you see here, if there are 3 or more Fire Soul, and then if there are 3 or more Light Soul Digimon in battle, and then if there are 3 or more Courage Soul, and I think it's, where is it, Dark, yeah, there's Courage, Light, and Darkness here is at the top, I think. Let me just find it, yeah, here we go, Darkness, see that at the top? So basically when you do second stage genetics, it gives you options to either have Fire Soul, you can have Light Core Digimons, you can have Darkness Soul Digimons, you can have Courage Soul Digimons, you can mix your team up, you know, you can't just have just Fire Soul. That's the best thing about Grace Nova Mon, because this way you can mix it up with Slayer German, which is the Fire Soul if you wanted to, but anyway, that's his normal one. Or you can go with Meikamon and Grace Novamon and so on. Alright guys, my next one is Lucimon. The reason for that is Lucimon is a skill type Digimon. He's all around damage, basically does damage to all of the enemies, and it has it's a control Digimon. Basically it has chance to like freeze or like send the other Digimons to different dimensions. Basically can't use their ultimate skill and so on. Okay, so let me find Lucimon here. Where are you, my man? Lucimon right here. Okay, so that's basically his ultimate skill. Now it does reincarnate, but when he actually reincarnates, basically it says here that its reincarnation increases 40% damage to target who was expelled to another dimension. Once the exclusive weapon is awakened, it will greatly improve the effect and damage of ultimate skill. Now reincarnate here. Okay, so basically the thing is with Lucimon's passive, it doesn't actually give you any benefits to your team, but it gives you only benefits to Lucimon. That's the only downside to this, if you guys are thinking of having a Digimon that helps you for your team. But still, his ultimate skill is really good for control-wise. Now, his passive basically is in battle, Lucimon triggers the reincarnation effect after its death and enters a period of recovery, which restores 40% HP. It will reincarnate next round with 100% Fury, 100% HP and 200% Fury. Inherited from the recovery period. Before reincarnation, Lucimon increases 20% control rate. The period of recovery, it increases 40% damage immune rate and 40% defense and absorbs attacker's Fury. It increases 30% damage immune rate and 30% life steal rate permanently until battle ends. So that's a good thing about when it dies, it gets like a damage immunity and life steal rate. Anyway, okay, so that's my third one. Now my fourth one is Jupitermon, which I have very good reason for that, because Jupitermon in battle is huge, like huge defense type Digimon. Is very, very important, like really strong. For now anyway, until Diamond comes out and Susanamon and there's another one, I can't remember the name, but until they come out, like obviously gonna be stronger than Jupitermon, but still Jupitermon right now is really good Digimon, especially in combination with Junamon. So you guys can see here at the bottom, it says if there is Junamon in battle, increase self 10% ultimate resist rate 2 rounds. At the same time, Junamon also immune to Exile, Seal, and Divine Punishment, which is pretty cool. Now, this ultimate skill of Jupitermon basically is really nice. What it does is basically, once you use ultimate skill, it deals damage to 3 random targets. It increases 20% damage and damage immune rate for self, lasting for 2 rounds. Okay. And it has 50% chance to cast Divine Judgment debuff on those targets for 1 round. Basically, the target is unable to use normal skill and ultimate skill are forced to attack Jupitermon. When Jupitermon was attacked, he copied the buff on the attackers to himself. If Divine Punishment is not inflicted, deals more damage equal to the double of Jupitermon's defense. So basically, guys, the higher Jupitermon's defense it is, the higher the damage it can do to the enemy, for example. Okay, so that's Jupitermon. My next one is basically Magnamon / Impulsarmon Paladin mode. Obviously, I have Impulsarmon Paladin mode, which you can see over here, which is basically my 3rd strongest Digimon, because it's potential, it's potential 17 Digimon. The good thing is with Impulsarmon Paladin mode is that obviously it does give you this like reduced attack of all enemy Digimon, which is really good, and at the same time it does give you like when your HP is lower, for example, it says here, or when its HP is lower than 30%, it recovers 25% HP and dispels debuffs for itself. Basically, it increases 20% damage immune rate for itself, lasting for 1 round. HP to be recovered will not... Now, HP can be triggered 4 times at most in each battle. So basically you have like, as long as your HP is down to 30%, you can trigger it down up to 4 times maximum. In my case, I've noticed it, as far as I've noticed, basically it's been 3 times only. I haven't seen it do a 4th time, which if you're probably lucky, you must have seen it. Anyway, the other good thing is that basically in Digimon it does this unexpected fire effect on the targets of its normal skill and also his ultimate skill. Now, the target with ultimate skill in unexpected fire, basically he gains, I think he gains deal more damage, no more than 20%. So basically he gains a maximum of 20% extra damage to targets with unexpected fire. The next one is Magnamon, well, slash Magnamon in Digimon. Let me just check something. Okay. Now let's go with Magnamon. Where are you, my man? Ah, here we go. So, this one right here. In battle, it decreases 10% critical enemy attack type Digimon. From round 1 to round 3, it increases 30% defense for itself before being attacked, which can be stacked twice each round, which is nice. That's 30 and 60% defense. And the effect will be cleared until the middle of the next round. If it has been in the battle for more than 3 rounds, higher HP grants greater damage up to 30%. If its HP is lower than 30% after being attacked, it restores 20% HP, which can be triggered only once in battle, and increases 30% reflection rate and 20% damage reduction permanently until battle ends. And the debuff increase, it's nice. That's a really good passive skill. Now, its ultimate skill basically has a chance to like cast this golden armor stuff and also a golden armor defect. Ultimate damage. And it absorbs 50 fury from the target who being attacked by being affected and stands out from the Kodon Magnamon attack. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna skip that. Alright, so the next one, guys, is Chaosmon. Alright, so similar to Magnamon, the reason for this is because Chaosmon is free to get. It's basically easy to farm, easy to upgrade, easy to get his battle power up. Like, this is a Digimon for everyone. You can't go wrong with Chaosmon. And his Fury Down is amazing. His genetics is amazing too. I mean, if I go to genetics over here, you can see like I have 7th-stage genetics already. If I just... Actually, I don't even need to go to genetics because I have already unlocked its passive here. So starting from the 3rd round, it gets a shield. Now, if I told you guys earlier that Lucilla basically doesn't give you any buffs for your team. It's passive anyway. But even Chaosmon, when you do these genetics, it gives you buffs for your team. So in this way, let's have a look. Now, it gives a shield on the 3rd round for itself every 2 rounds, which can resist some damage equal to 39 of current HP. So the higher HP, the higher percentage of like damage you can resist. While the shield is active, it protects the owner from all control skills. Now, when the shield is broken, reduce the critical rate and block rate of random enemy by 12% for 2 rounds. Once the shield is broken, all enemy Digimon will have minus 10% attack for 2 rounds. That's really cool. And now, its ultimate skill. So basically, its ultimate skill, it deals damage to Digimon in vertical row, and it deals 100% extra damage to attack type Digimon, and decreases 45% defense 2 rounds and 600 fury to the main target. It increases 20% defense 2 rounds, 20% block rate for 2 rounds for the row that he is in. So what that means basically, if Chaosmon is in the front row, basically your other 2 Digimon, or including Chaosmon, will receive 20% defense, 20% block for 2 rounds, okay? That's really amazing, to be honest. It's really good. But as long as he gets to use his ultimate skill. It decreases the damage received from attack type Digimon by 30% for 2 rounds as well. you can't go wrong there. That's really good. Chaosmon is a really good counter to attack type Digimon. Whether you're free to play or pay to win, he's a really good counter. Unless the attack type Digimon, they get to attack Chaosmon first, then maybe that'll be a bit different. Okay guys, so my next one is Belphemon. As I mentioned to you guys earlier that Belphemon is like a huge attack type Digimon, like really strong in attack, which is true. I have seen him in action myself. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen him as well. This guy is tremendous. One of the reasons why is that basically he buffs himself up, like literally he gets his marks. It was born with 2 Fury marks, and each time it deals normal attack, releases normal skills or is attacked, it gains a Fury mark and has certain chance which increase along with rounds to gain another 1 mark. Marks are limited before each round starts. If it has more than 3 Fury marks, it will release a snowball bubble to protect itself. Larger the amount of marks, the greater damage to be absorbed. The snowball bubble is basically similar to it's like similar to Chaosmon's shield, okay? But it's not as strong as Chaosmon's shield. The other good thing is basically here, the greater the damage to be absorbed with a maximum of 40% HP cap. It's immune to debuffs when it's in snowball bubble. Digimon defeated by Porcupamon will decrease its resurrection rate, which is invalid when the rate of it is 100%. But still, its resurrection rate as well is decreased, which is really nice, especially when you fight against Alphamon, Slash Angemon. I think Lucimon has 100% revival rate, so we can count that out. It's not going to work against Lucimon. Its ultimate skill here. So basically, it says here that ignores the target's 10% damage immune rate and 10% block rate, and releases the power of Rage Mark. Each tier of Rage Mark increase 5% critical hit and attack for self. So if he has a Rage Mark of, for example, 1, 2, 3 Rage Marks, basically you're gonna get like 5, 10, 15% attack and critical hit, which is a lot. Like it's a lot of difference. Anyway, that's gonna really do a lot of damage. So the higher the ultimate skill bonus can be obtained, 36% max. So that's a big amount of difference there, guys. And its normal skill as well. Basically, if self HP is more than 50%, it will increase 30% skill damage for self. Self HP is less than 50%, it will increase 25% lifesteal rate for self, lasting for 2 rounds. Now, this is a really good skill too. Now, my next one is Black Greymon. Blackrock Greymon. Okay, where is this guy? Right here. So the reason why I'm going for Blackrock Greymon is that it has this debuff. Basically, what this is I can't remember what it was called. It was called. Let me just find this for you guys. Oh my god, I can't find it. Is it this one or is it the ultimate skill? Ah, he has a bleeding effect. Okay, that's one. Okay, so if we look at his ultimate skill, it does damage to enemies in a vertical row. So Digimon attaching the tearing, bleeding, or divine burn effects for more than 1 Digimon on the opponent field if the front row of the targets does not trigger the block or the injury resistance, then move. Basically, this is one of the best options as well. Basically, it says here that if it does not trigger the block option or the injury resistance, then move the target out of the field immediately. So when this ultimate skill attacks one enemy in a vertical row, if the enemy does not resist or the enemy does not block, then what he's going to do is basically going to like put it away from the field. So if the enemy has 3 back row Digimon and 1 front row, and this skill, for example, ultimate skill becomes active, then that front row Digimon is basically going to be like removed for the round, and that means that any other Digimon you have left to attack or use ultimate skill, now you get a choice to choose to attack which back row Digimon you want to attack, which is really good. Okay, so in the front row, then move the target out of the field, never return to the field within the allied action round, with no effects to the banished or frozen Digimon. After releasing the ultimate skill, causing 8% damage of the upper limit HP to the target which still not moved out of the field. An increased 20% block rate of the allied Digimon in the front row. So that's really good. You're gonna get 20% block rate of front row Digimon too. And every round, this is gonna cause 8% of damage reduction, of HP reduction to the Digimon that's been attacked in a vertical row. And the normal skill does the same 8% to the like any Digimon he attacks. That's really cool. Now, if you guys notice that its passive, it requires to have, I think it was 3, equal to 3 Light Soul Digimon on the field. Addition increases up to 40% critical resistance. So if you guys have War Greymon, you need to focus on Light Souls. Okay, now the next one, guys, is Venusmon. The reason why is this one here, Pure Beauty, where basically, so let's go through the skill here. Reduces the damage rate of all enemy Digimon by 4% and control relieving rate of all enemy Digimon by 4%, which is good. Before the battle, Bless, well, this Bless is basically the invincibility effect. So I'll explain this in a minute. Bless 2 random allies, and the allies blessed will not die immediately. When receiving lethal damage and not triggering the recovery, if winning 25% attack bonus right now, it will be immune to all damages and all side effects. Besides, it can unleash attack in the next round and will be completely dead when the round of the unleashing attack is over. So what this means is basically that when the Digimon is blessed, when he has this invincibility effect, so when it's an enemy's turn and your health is like 10%, if the enemy use ultimate skill on you, and the ultimate skill is going to kill you, but because it has this invincibility effect, that means that basically your Digimon is not going to die. No matter how many times they're going to attack you, how many times they're going to use the ultimate skill, on this Digimon that has an invincibility effect, it will not kill you. Oops, my screen went blank there for a minute. What just happened there? Anyway, yeah, so it will not kill your Digimon whatsoever. And if your Digimon Fury is ready on the next round, when the enemy's finished his turn, it's your turn. If the Fury of the Digimon that's invincible is ready, it will release that ultimate skill, and then when your turn is finished, that Digimon will die. That's it, that Digimon is gone. That's why I chose Venusmon. It's a really good Digimon. Okay, now my final one, guys, my final one is Slayerdramon. Now, I said Slayerdramon. A lot of you probably gonna have to like disagree with me, or maybe you'd go in a different order. Now, also, guys, we have here Meikomon and also Junimon too. Junimon, Meikomon, Slayerdramon. These are really good Digimon as well. I mentioned their Alphamon before. I mentioned like Chaosmon / Alphamon. Alphamon is really good too because of its revive rate. But the reason why I'm going with Slayerdramon is that it's like a core Digimon, but their Alphamon is basically it's just a normal defense Digimon, and it's not exactly easy to unlock unless you're like pay to win and you spend a lot of money for this, or trying to do it with Bid War, which, if I remember correctly, his Bid War was actually crazy. It was really, really crazy. Now, Slayerdramon here, the reason for that is his passive skill. So basically, it says here, if there are at least 3 allied Digimon of Flame Battle Soul type, increase 25%, but this goes up to, if there are 4 allied Digimon of Flame Soul, it goes up to 40% critical resistance. So, okay, so if you guys have Grace Novamon and Slayerdramon, so Slayerdramon is a Fire Soul, and if you go with Grace Novamon Fire Soul, now if you have 4 Digimon of Fire Soul, that means that you're going to have Grace Novamon's passive, you're going to have Slayerdramon's passive too, so that means you're going to have 40% critical resistance rate for 2 rounds, you're going to have 35% damage immune rate for 2 rounds from Grace Novamon. So in a way, if you think about it, that's almost 75% of extra buffs for just 2 rounds for doing nothing, and it's just a passive. And the thing is with Slayerdramon's passive is that it actually gives you, like, let's read here. Each death of allied Digimon grants Cordramon or Slayerdramon the chance to inherit Will, which dispels abnormal status for itself, increase 10% attack and defense, stackable, restore certain HP, and inherit certain fury from dead allied Digimon. So this is a really good choice, really good option as well. Anyway, guys, so that's my top 10 Digimon. Anyway, this is just my opinion. So if you guys think about something, if you guys think of it is probably not right or so on, that's just my opinion. I don't want you guys to get offended by this or so on. Anyway, you should read through your skills and look through what kind of team you want to build for yourself. Anyway, in the upcoming next few months, it's going to be quite a lot of better Digimons, which are going to outdate these potential 16. But still, as for now, in June 2019, these are like my top 10 Digimon. Okay. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave your comments down below and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you next time. And also, don't forget to share as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good day and take care.